So I know the owner, Brendan, like for many years. I knew the father and was a very interesting collector from Amsterdam. And he had bought my work in the 70s. And so Brendan I'd known for a long time, and then I knew Brendan in Milano for some years. And I came to eat here 2-3 weeks ago, and I thought that the design of the place is very interesting, the food is fantastic, but there was something missing here, which was, they had great lights, everything was clean and white, the furniture is quite interesting, but I really felt as though something was missing. And so he asked me, what do you think? And I said, well, maybe we can do something for you. And I was not interested in the major walls, so like this wall behind me or the big wall at the end. I was not interested in the large areas because in some ways this type of lighting they have here dominates the big walls. So I thought maybe this little alcoves, which are they're sort of neglected, they are discreet, they have no real function. They're not the wall you look at immediately, but as small architectural elements in the building, I thought they had a sort of interesting, and they are like a frame. You know, the voûte, how you call it, the curve of the ceiling, the curve at the top. So they are like little frames in some sense, and therefore the idea was to bring into the space what I see as a sort of architectural type of drawing. There is a certain, I was talking to somebody earlier, like it has a sort of hieroglyphic feel to it. They are like letters, they are like words, they are underlined, there is a use of color, they are small, simple, but there is something almost as though it's an alphabet or a letter or a writing, and then there is a construction in each one of these little drawings which has a clear architectural sensibility, which has been my interest anyway for 40 years. And things like language always interested me, plus I've traveled for many years in different parts of the world, and so I pick up this sort of information of language, of writing, of hieroglyphic, and then of course looking at architecture around the world. And I'm coming here, which is predominantly Japanese, as a food form. I thought, right, I can maybe make 3 or 4 works which are within that sort of sensibility of working with the Japanese type of sensibility. So I already have one piece in Milano that's been for 30 years or so. It's a restaurant called Trattoria Milanesi. It's in Via Santa Marta, 11. And it's one of your, I would say, the greatest of the trattorias in Milano, for sure. And they asked me to, well, at least I was eating there since the early 70s. So I know the father of the present owner, and I did a work which is actually currently on show in the Spazio Borgogno, which is linked to the Museum Pece, and they have an exhibition called Palari, I think, which is artists who are using writing a lot. And there is this work which belongs to Trattoria Milanesi, it's hanging there, and that's written, and it says mangiamo per vivere, viviamo per l'amore, ma mangiamo per l'amore, do we eat to love. And this is normally in the restaurants, and now it's at Pece. So that was the first restaurant work I ever made, and I did some wine label for them and this sort of thing. In London there is a work which is in a place called Fernandez and Wells, which is a very interesting, it's more a bar, Spanish tapas type bar with very good coffee and wine and things like that. So people can always take a good coffee in London. It's in Somerset House off the Strand, and then they have 3 in Soho. So those are the 3 major places I've ever done a work which is substantial.